Oh, hell, this clip is just a little longer than the one I just went through. At least before I decide to do any fast-forwarding, assuming that's going to be a thing. I mean, I'm running through familiar territory. It shouldn't be that big of a deal for me to start fast-forwarding now. As tempted as I am to do so right at the start of this clip, though, something just doesn't feel right just yet. Anyway, we got a good amount done in the previous clip. New weapon and grabbed 2 keys. Definitely feels eventful, even if the events themselves felt oddly underwhelming. Really hoping this clip is gonna feel pretty eventful as well. Those weren't even infested bugs. Is it wrong of me to feel a bit insulted by that, especially considering how little I've been paying attention to the fights we get into around here?
Recording to logbook.
Really didn't take us long to get back to Dark Aether. It still felt more annoying than it should have for us to get where we can move to the temple, though. Right. Shouldn't be too difficult a road back to the temple from here, though I assume there's gonna be more enemies along our path. Again, not feeling worried about much of anything other than the boss itself when we get there. I may not remember exactly which boss we're gonna run into in there, but I certainly know it's not gonna be one of the ones that makes me groan in frustration just by looking at it. Well, these are the same repeating enemies we faced in this hallway before. Guess we aren't seeing anything new until we get to the boss. Not really disappointing, but I was kinda hoping, considering we needed 3 keys for the damn door, that they would change things up a bit once we have all 3 keys and start charging towards our objective. Okay, not too sure why I took this path instead of the more direct route to the temple. Again, I'm getting a distinct feeling that I wasn't at the top of my game when I recorded footage of this one. How much of that is due to the fact that I don't typically go through this game as often as some of the other Metroids that I've LP'd so far? And how much is due to me essentially feeling like this game would defeat me before I even booted it up for recording? Okay, part of me is sure that the ing in this place in particular might be different from what we usually deal with in here, but that might just be my mind playing tricks on me, and it's definitely a bad sign that we're 11 clips in and my mind is already messing with me like this. Okay. Apparently I got in the mood to start exploring this area here, despite the obvious things I've ignored before now. Definitely even more of a bad sign that I can't even predict my own actions in this game. I'm never going to get over the fact that just walking around is more dangerous for us than fighting against some of the scary-looking monsters. Wait, so killing that thing with the dark beam didn't get us light beam ammo? Bloody hell, this game isn't even following its own rules on how we get more of a resource here. I suppose those ammo replenishment stations are just a bit more necessary than I thought. Wait, really? There's absolutely nothing on the other end of this room at all? Not that I'm against the missile expansion, but still, there wasn't a puzzle in there. It was just a dead-end hallway that made you think there was something at the other end. Well, at least now it looks like we're going for the temple. And apparently I'm going to do so in a way that makes sure we take as much damage as possible. Bloody hell. While I'm not quite going to start fast-forwarding just yet, this is definitely making it far more tempting for me to do so. While none of my Metroid game Let's Plays have been especially skillful things compared to more talented gamers than me, this one I'm clearly moving around in ways that's making me feel annoyed with myself. Especially since I don't know what exact factors are making me feel like a worse explorer than I was in the first Metroid Prime. Screw it. I keep thinking about fast-forwarding, so let's just fast-forward. It's not like there's anything especially enthralling going on right now. I'm just trying to get through territory I've already traveled through before, and hopefully have a good amount of health when we get to the inevitable boss battle at the temple. A boss battle that I very much assume has healing fields in it, if only so we don't die because the environment is literally more dangerous than anything else we've encountered in this entire game. I suppose I appreciate the bit of light energy we got from that one. I appreciate even more the fact that we have all our energy tanks active, even if we're not quite at full health just yet. Right, now it's time to get these keys into their holes. We damn well better have access to the temple after all that crap. Right, silly me for thinking we'd just open a literal door by putting those keys in. All that was just to turn on a short-range teleporter? A teleporter that we can't scan for some reason? And of course we can't scan the thing that we're supposed to, see on the other side of this wall here. So that wasn't a teleporter. I was right to think of this as a standard door. This game just seems to love making me feel like a bigger moron than any of the other Metroids we've gone through. Okay, so we have some kind of worm hydra thing to fight here. Why why do I have the distinct feeling it's not going to be quite so easy to dodge them when they launch at us like that? Is it the fact that we can't jump quite as high as Samus can in the cutscenes, or something else? Ah, well, at least this monster has a more respectable name than the Guardians we ran into earlier. And apparently it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to scan the worms that are the center point of our fight here. Whereas we can survive pretty long just by running from one healing field to another. And much like the scan with Dark Samus, the number certainly implies we're going to have to scan these things again at some point. I'm kind of expecting this to be a multi-stage fight instead of this worm boss being something we deal with on numerous occasions like Dark Samus. Still, considering how much I don't remember about this game, I suppose it could pull some more surprises against us. Hell, I certainly didn't remember the area of effect of those rather basic leaping attacks. Well, we're certainly damaging the things based on the yellow flashes, not that the health bar is showing any progress yet. Right, so when it fuses with the ball, we have to shoot missiles down its mouth. My mistake. We need to roll into its mouth and set off a bomb. Why did I even think it would be something more sensible, like shooting a missile into it? Well, we've got some damage done to the thing's overall health bar. That's certainly progress, even if it isn't all that much. And again, we're healing far too much considering how limited the poor bastard's offense is, despite his size. Sure, the boss is able to disable temporarily one of the healing fields, but we can reactivate them, or just wait for them to reactivate on their own. This game just makes it all too easy to get oddly complacent. Why is it? I would have preferred if the game felt consistently brutal over the back and forth between vicious and all too forgiving. I made sure we have cheat codes available because I remembered it being absolutely vicious from beginning to end. Sure, the exploration part of this game is my fault for looking like an idiot, but the combat, it feels like they needed more time to balance things out the way they fully intended. It's just funny. I'm used to Metroid games feeling like I am the bigger factor for why I'm doing badly at various points, and the game was fairly made and meticulously crafted, but I just haven't gotten that sense in Metroid Prime 2 so far. Right, 2 hits on the pole right now. Wish I could say that seems intimidating, but this Hydra worm thing just isn't doing it for me, despite its large size. And good God, it probably says something that the much smaller 2-headed worm boss did a better job making me feel tension than this one. Yeah. Definitely taken far more damage from our environment than from the thing trying to kill us. And as I keep saying, the healing fields are really undermining any scariness from the environment here. definitely says something that the single most dangerous thing this monster can do isn't even to attack us directly, but to just mess with the fields around us. Right. I suppose that takes care of our second phase against this thing. I assume the third phase will be against all three heads, and it'll be how we finish things. Would it be considered disrespectful to fast forward through a boss fight? Because I don't really feel like this thing has really given us all that much worth talking about on its own. And from where I'm sitting, it's not feeling especially exciting to look at either. Sure, we're taking damage, but we're not really feeling all that threatened. I'm sure it's a visual spectacle to some degree, but it takes more than visual spectacle to really draw me into an experience. If it was, then I'm sure that something like Final Fantasy VIII or 13 would have been one of my first LPs. Not StarCraft. Seems kind of random where those worms pop up for us to shoot at them. That's really not helping me get the feeling we're fighting for our lives here. At least when the heads are attached to the ball, it feels like they're directly hostile to us. When they're just leaping around, the damage we take from them feels more incidental than anything else. Well, at least when there's three worms leaping around at once, it's easier to lose track, and one of them ends up leaping right on top of us. I'll take what I can get around here. Though I suppose I shouldn't be saying things like that when we're talking about how successful the enemy is against us. I assume that one is done leaping around now. And just as I say that, I get attacked from behind by one of the other worms. I should probably feel more worried that something that large can potentially hit us from behind. The body type and size certainly isn't something you'd expect to be able to just sneak up on you. I kind of wish that each head we finish off from the leaping section ends up on the ball immediately after we take his armor off, but no! We have to wait until we're done with all the heads that are part of that particular phase before we're allowed to the next phase. Granted, there's been a lot of padding in this game since the start, but still, this is kind of annoying. Hell, I've been pretty annoyed as a whole in this boss fight, and that's definitely not what they intended. And with that, we're on to the next and probably last phase of the fight. Now to start busting what's left of the heads and finish this thing off. Again, very much willing to yawn as this goes on. Such a long clip, and it feels like so little has actually happened in it. One down, two more to go. I really wish I could feel in some way threatened by what's going on right now. Just How much damage would we have taken if we didn't have the toxic environment and only had to worry about what the monster threw at us? And of course, if we didn't have the healing fields around here. I'm pretty sure at the very least this boss would feel pretty damn similar to the plant one we fought in the first Metroid Prime. The one where we had to knock some mirrors around. How far into the first Metroid Prime did we fight that boss anyway? I can't really remember. Two down, one to go, and I'm still struggling to keep my commentary centered on this game and what's going on in it, instead of talking about other things. And that should do it. Right, another boss taken down and we are completely done with this temple. Just what did we earn after that overly long brawl? Dark suit? Oh, I somehow doubt we're completely immune to the toxic air at this point of the game. Sorry, but I think Dark Samus's look is better than this. For one thing, the pauldrons on our shoulders look kinda silly in this suit. Kinda like wheels that are waiting for us to turn into a car or motorcycle. And given the color scheme, the whole game at the very least, I can't help feeling black would look better than brown. Right, onto the main temple chamber. Right, so we're damaged a lot slower by the environment now, but we're still not immune to the toxic air. Feels like a bit of a half measure to me. I mean, sure, in other games we would gain heat resistance before we could outright run through lava, but still. Well, at least we can see the energy we're gonna transfer before we get it done. Samus has just absolutely no hesitation working these various devices that she's never encountered before. At least with the other games, we have the fact that things are at least Jozo-based, if not outright made by the Jozo to explain that, but this game does not have that excuse. Right, I assume now is a good time to start fast-forwarding again. There doesn't seem to be anything in here to scan, other than the object that Samus interacted with in the cutscene. And I have the distinct feeling that we're not going to run into any fresh enemies on our way to the alternate version of this temple. Just the same respawning foes that we've seen the other times we've gone through those same rooms and hallways. Okay, so we have some standard ing showing up in the boss fight arena. I'm sorry, but that doesn't feel interesting enough for me to slow the footage back down. Again, this game has not done nearly enough to make the scary monsters feel legitimately scary in their own dangerous world. Not really sure why I even bothered going this way, since the minimap doesn't even claim that there's a door we can go through. Still, we're making progress around here, for whatever that's worth. And again, I'm not seeing light ammo coming out of the bastards, even though we're doing exactly what the game says we should do in order to get ammo for the other gun. Ah, well, at least this clip is ending soon. I think I deserve the break.